What's up, everybody, and welcome to the newest episode of the Bronx Muchachos podcast, brought to you by 5 Reasons Sports Network. I'm your host, Mark, and we got the family with us tonight. All the muchachos are in town. We got David.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back for another exciting week.
We got Danny.
Here, what's up, everybody?
We got Alex.
What's up, everybody? Hope you're having a good one.
And, of course, we got our brother from another mother, our good friend, Mr. Paul Woodin from Prospects1500.
Hey, good evening, guys.
Hey, everybody, you know the drill. Remember, be sure to like, rate, review, subscribe. Give us that 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and some of our newer platforms, iHeartRadio and Amazon Music. Don't forget to also subscribe and hit the like button when you're watching live here on YouTube. Also, check out our link tree, which is link.tree/Real Bronx Muchachos, where you get all of anything from any of our sponsors, such as Lids, Southwest Airlines, Hilton Hotels, and many, many more. So, boys, it's Thursday night. We're still sitting at 60, my friends. Still sitting at 60. Dave is jamming over there. He's got some reggaeton in his ears going, but he's good to go. He's ready. He's ready. Dave's ready for 61.
No. Yep, ready for 61. I just want to see it happen. Get it over with. Move on. Distractions done with. On to the postseason.
Judge is 0 for 15 with 10 Ks against Uncle Waka. If it's going to happen tonight, it's going to happen against a reliever in a big spot.
I don't care. I don't care how it happens, just as long as it happens. I just want it to happen.
If it doesn't happen tonight, it's going to happen on Apple TV then.
Not unless they set him.
The guy's chasing a batting title. The guy's chasing a batting title on the Triple Crown. I don't see them sitting him.
Well, they said him. They said him. They kind of keep his numbers ahead of Xander Bogaerts. You can't lose. You can't drop any numbers if he's not playing.
Judge would not allow that. He would never allow. I think he would charge into Aaron Boone's office, break down the door.
Oh, like Aaron Boone's the one who's going to have the say in that one.
Who else is making? Come on, I hate this.
No.
Danny, we've already discussed this.
No. This one's not an Aaron Boone joke per se. This is more along the lines of the great theory I have is that if Apple and MLB turn around and try to shaft the Yankees and Yes Network, who are trying to sweeten the pot for everything, the Yankees turn around and say, "Oh, you're not going to let us have it on Yes. Well, Judge isn't going to play today." And he can't overrule Hal at that point when it comes down from that far high up.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, he's gonna walk into Hal's office. This is ridiculous. I demand to play.
Kind of sound like George does a Costanza to Steinbrenner, huh?
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
But speaking of games and things like that, this week we've had some. We just said Judge hit 60, but we did have a problem come across the desk here, which is that Frankie Montas is on the IL for a good 15 days. Shoulder inflammation. He got a cortisone shot, and it's something he's been dealing with since spring training. So it was kind of a known issue that he had even when we made the trade for him. So let's take it around the horn. Let's go Alex first. Danny wants to go first. Why don't we go? What are your thoughts about this?
Well, he's been struggling, right? It's pretty apparent that he's been not the same guy that he's been pretty much all year in Oakland. With it flaring up, it's not ideal, but it gives us an opportunity to get healthy and hopefully provide some innings in the postseason. He's not going to be that number 2 guy anymore. He's not even going to be a number 3 guy. He may get a Game 4 start, and he may just get one-time order, and that'll be the impact of Frankie Montas in the first round. Maybe in the second round, they kind of, if the Yankees advance that far, opportunity to throw some more innings. But right now, he may not even be a legit option as a starter in the playoffs, which is kind of disappointing. But we do have him for 2 years. So let's get healthy and let's get back on track with Frankie.
So would you rather have as Game 4 than you having Tyone or you having Montas? Because my 1 through 3 is assuming it's going to be 1 through 3 that I'm putting out there is Cole, Nestor, then Sevy.
Mm-hmm. I'd go same way with Tyone, with Schmidt in hopefully. We're going to talk about this later on, but I'm not going to get too much into it. So I'll hold that close to my chest.
What about you, Davey boy? What do you think about all this happening here? You think it's a blessing in disguise that Montas is on the IL, or we talking problems for the remainder of the season?
Well, you know how I felt about this trade to begin with when it first went down. My issue with trading for him was not what we gave up. It was the condition that he was in. He had just come off of this same injury before we traded for him. And I don't know. This injury coming back just has a hard time justifying trading for him in the first place, right? Like everyone that Brian Cashman acquired this trade deadline got injured. Granted, Benintendi's injury was not his fault. He got hit in the hand. It happens. Happened to Judge a couple of seasons ago where he got his wrist broken. But I think it's a blessing in disguise. I don't necessarily think we need him. I know that's going to be an unpopular opinion. I feel like this pitching staff is coming back strong from the guys we're getting back from the IL to cover it. Clark Schmidt's definitely a long guy, along with Domingo Hardman going into the postseason. So these innings are covered. I don't really see losing him as being a loss, considering how he's pitched since he got here. There's nothing more that I'd like to see than this guy be successful here. Because let's be honest, who of us as Yankees fans want to see the prospects that we gave up for this guy to see him come here and fail? Nobody wants to see that. Me in particular. But, the writing was on the wall before they pulled the trigger and made this trade. And now this is the consequence of that. Unfortunately, they gave up J.P. Sears, Ken Waldachuk, and Luis Medina. And now with trading those guys away, along with Hayden Wesniewski to the Cubs, you have this guy go down, and you got literally nobody in the minor leagues that's a starting pitcher that you can use to now cover this. The closest thing you got is Will Warren and to an extent Sean Boyle, but that's like way down the depth chart. That's just how I see it. I mean, hopefully he can. I would straight up just sit him for the rest of the season into the postseason and have him come back fresh in spring training. Why push it? There's no reason to push it. Just to have him in the postseason to take a roster spot away from somebody else. And I hate to say it, I would not want to see him blow a game in the postseason, trying to come back from injury. That's just how I feel about it. I
think the innings are on the roster already, so you don't even need to delve into the minors at all. You're not going to at this point in time in the season anyway. Who you got on your 40 man is who you got on your 40 man, and that's who you're riding with into the postseason. So those innings are coming from Tyone, Schmidt, Hardman. You already kind of laid it out right there. And they could match what Montas would have gave you as a potential number two. Maybe not in a game 2 type of situation, more so in a game 4, game 3 type, but the innings are there on the roster already.
And when it comes to me, to your question, Mark, I mean, it sucks that he's gone. Like, you don't want to see any of the pieces get injured. You don't. But it is what it is. The injury happened, and guess the Catholic boy in me is hearing hallelujah going on right now because I don't have to worry about seeing him on the mound right now when the postseason is kicking in, because it is what it is.
What do you think about it, Paul?
No, I agree with Alex. Kind of just got to fight through it. They've been fighting through the injury bug for a little while here. I'm losing all those guys. Just fight through it. You're gonna have to. Herman's gonna have to step up. Jameson's gonna have to step. Somebody's got to step up and eat some innings.
So we get rid of the bad right now with Montas going down. Let's flip the script right now. We got a lot of good things coming back and a lot of good problems coming around the corner, Paul. We got today, just today alone, F. Ross is back. We got Zach Britton back. Sevy King is back as well. Hayden Bader's back. I mean, Trevino was on and Donaldson, they were both on paternity leave, but they're back. Rizzo's back. I mean, I think we got a lot of good problems ahead of us. What do you think? What do you see about the returning from the injury players?
Well, you got a full squad. You're ready to go. This is what you needed. he needed to get everybody swings with 2 weeks left of the season, get everybody in the groove, and let's go. I mean, Stanton's hitting a little bit. Gleyber Torres went up in the lineup. He's hitting finally. Danny's boy. I see the big smile on Danny's face. All those guys are finally hitting. You got to figure out what you're doing in the outfield. If Benintendi comes back, that's playoffs issues. That's down the line a little bit. But,
And don't forget, and Stanton just hit a home run today, so that's a nice little kicker for him.
Yeah, you got
continuing come back.
Out of the ball.
Paul, question,
great.
Paul. I got a question for you, Paul.
What's up?
If Stanton hits one more, do we consider him hot now for playoffs?
I mean, yeah, sure, we'll go with it. I mean, I'm happy he's not. I'm happy we're hitting some home runs and more than home runs. He's getting on base by more than a home run now because he was down to what, like 208, 210, somewhere there in that.
208. Yeah,
that's not acceptable.
It was getting down there
because all year. Like, yeah, okay, but the high fastball was killing him. He couldn't catch up to a high fastball to save his soul. So hopefully he's figured things out.
I'm about to give the audience a little insight into the conversations that we have on Tuesday at this point, where we're talking through the AB. That whole ninth inning, we're all on the production call preparing for today's episode. And well, first off, I went absolutely crazy when Judge hit 60. Absolutely crazy. I'm pretty sure guys had to mute their phones because the kids could probably hear me from across the room. I know my kid definitely heard me. But
before you go on, okay, Danny, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening, do not ever have a production call with Danny and a Yankee game on at the same time.
Definitely
you are going to hear everything 10 minutes ahead of time if you're watching it online. He's going to be Mr. Spoiler for you. And you're going to be like, bro, come on, man. I want to watch this live. Just want to let you know, the man does not know how to mute his phone during a Yankee game. Continue.
That was so much fun. But then we're just talking through Giancarlo's at bat. I think it was the 2 ball. He took 2 balls and he didn't even move, right? Doing really good takes. And then I think it was on the 2-1 pitch. We're all in agreement. It's like, yo, if Will Crow hangs a slider right now, the game's gonna be over. And he threw what a dumb pitch selection, a changeup on the inside corner after going 97 in that Giancarlo was laid on. Oh my God, that might have been the best game of the year. But to have that moment just to talk through the AB, that was just like a lot of fun. And I'm glad we're able to share that experience, even though I was like 10 seconds ahead of you guys.
And to Danny's point, I'm sitting there watching the game, and I'm like, how are we losing to a 58-win team right now? I mean, Holmes gives up the 3-run bomb.
Oh my gosh, you were
just like
pessimistic. I'm
just sitting there, and I'm like, Giancarlo, if there was ever a time for you to hit a home run, now would be it. And then the next pitch, bang over the left field wall at 118 miles an hour for a home run. I was like, thank you, baseball gods. Thank you for listening.
You were the angry, pessimistic kid on that call.
I'm sorry, dude. When you're losing to a 58-win team, that's kind of embarrassing.
Don't worry, man. It's the Yankees. Never give up, never surrender.
I wasn't giving up. I was just aggravated. You don't have anyone to close games right now. That's aggravating.
Well, I mean, Boone today made the comment it's going to be closer by committee for the foreseeable future. Yeah. That's not really acceptable either, in my opinion. We got to get one guy.
That's a different discussion for a different day, for a different pod. But
no, it's not. They're waiting on Zach Britton.
Yeah, but I think the point I was trying to make with Giancarlo is that the takes that he's like the actions inside the box when he's taking pitches for balls, he's quiet. He's not jumping at it. He's not like in between. The homer today went to right field. He's pulling changeups. Giancarlo's getting back on time, and it's the right time for the Yankees because we need him. And we need him in that 4th spot behind Rizzo, because hopefully DJ comes back within the next week. That's more in line with our conversation today. Getting DJ back at 1 spot, Judge, Rizzo, Giancarlo. Man, that's a really tough one through 4.
Especially they put DJ back in the first spot after the records got broken, because that way we don't got to worry about it no more, and it's baseball time.
Yep.
I think either which way, whether the record is broken or not, DJ needs to be back in the number one spot. Even if Judge is still sitting at 60, put him back there. Give Judge somebody on base to hit, to bring in. Let's Judge, Rizzo, Stanton, Glaber, Donaldson. I mean, you want your 2 through 6 guys having people in front of you. These are RBI guys right there. But that's part of the thing coming back. I mean, that when DJ comes back, when hopefully Benintendi comes back as well, because he's dealt with this with that broken bone once before. So hopefully he comes back. I mean, you start really, and I know this is going to be for another pod down the line, but you really start getting that playoff roster really kicking in gear. Everyone gets their at bats and moving forward. So, Dave, what did you think about Sevy's performance last night?
Well, you guys all know I'm a huge Sevy fan. I've been a fan of his ever since he came up. I'm just glad that the pitching staff has their, quote, emotional leader, as I call him, back. He definitely brings an edge to his starting pitching staff, or just the pitching staff in general, just seeing how amped up he gets on the mound in big situations. I mean, last night, yeah, you only got 5 innings out of him, but 5 innings out of Severino is better than no innings at all, in my opinion. So it was definitely great to see him back, healthy, ball jumping out of his hand, upper 90s. It's just, what's the word I'm trying to find here? Just more good things to come from him going forward. So it's definitely a huge boost.
So any concern? And do we have any concern about the guys coming back? I mean, I know, we had the end of the Miggy Andujar era has finally come full fruition right now with being DFA'd. Efros back. We still got to figure out time to get Britton in here, because we're talking about a guy who just came back from Tommy John surgery. I mean, he didn't have like the full Tommy John. He had the sheath. There's a new portion of that surgery, which is just a sheath that was put over the arm. So it's the recovery time is cut in half. I think instead of 12 to 18 months, it's now 9 months. I think upwards of 12. So I think we got to see what you have to see what he's throwing. I mean, there's a lot of things. It's a lot of good things. I mean, Carpenter, Matt Carpenter. He's coming. I think the boot's coming off his foot now too. He can start ramping up baseball activity. I mean, we're getting everyone back the last couple of weeks and getting everyone swinging the bats. That's not a bad thing. Like I said, it's just a lot of things that we'll wind up talking about down the line for playoff rosters and stuff like that. But we're touching on Judge before. Alex, I know Alex saw a video. We were talking about the Judge video you were talking about on Monday.
Yeah.
Right. Why don't you enlighten everybody about the Aaron Judge video?
So it's come out that basically Aaron Judge's stats this season are best ever in baseball. If you look at it, okay, like what he has accomplished behind the bat is incredible. Like, okay, the only person who's done it is Schmidt in 81, and that was a shortened season. So Judge is basically right now, if you really look at it, the best player to ever play the game. So as much as I was always saying, oh my gosh, to Dave and about the whole keeping him, we got to keep him. Keep the best player ever in baseball, because like all stats, and I mean all the stats, like not just, oh my gosh, he's not just your Triple Crown winner. No. He's your everything winner. Only thing he can't do right now, and he's only 15 steals behind the leader in steals also. So it's not like he's a slow guy either. He has the steal. If he was, oh my gosh, a base stealer, he would be stealing bases too, but he's not. We don't want to injure the man.
Yeah, Brian Kenny did a great in-depth look into Judge. You guys can find it on MLB.com. It's amazing. Like, Judge is literally the first player, since Mike Schmidt in 81, to lead in every offensive category. Mm-hmm. Like, it's ridiculous. Even even the analytical stance, like weighted runs created plus, winning probability added, which are two huge like new age stats that we got to know as fans, because Judge is number one in literally everything. WAR, F WAR, B WAR. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So we are witnessing history, and it's just like, it's super cool to see 60 as an adult now. Like as a kid, seeing Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire, and Barry Bonds doing their thing, and it's not really. It doesn't feel real. It was like a fantasy, and to see this every day and see 60, wow.
And not only that though, like when we had back in the 90s when that was going on, like we didn't know it at the time because we didn't know that there were steroids going on and all that kind of stuff. Like we were all young and dumb. Let's be realistic about ourselves at least. I'm not saying any of the older listeners they didn't feel that way. I'm not gonna say even listeners that were our age that didn't feel that way. But at least I did not think that. I thought it was all honest. And now that we have someone that is legitimately getting tested, so we know he's doing it honestly, and to have something going on that we haven't even seen, and I'm talking about home run right now, the home run race that we haven't seen since my dad was a kid. Let's be real. Like it's something that we could talk to our kids when they get older and actually care about baseball and be like, yeah, you're a little baby, but this is what was happening when you don't even know what was going on. It's like you might not even live to see something like this ever happen again. Like this is legitimately this season is a once in a lifetime season to see.
Oh, you're 100% right about that. And all of us here, all of our kids are right around the same age too. I mean, we really are like literally in like the same kind of like the same age, pretty much the same age group. So it's kind of a wild ride for this. You know, being the elder statesman on the podcast here, I definitely remember Bonds and I remember Sosa. I remember all that stuff and McGuire. I remember all that stuff. So it's a wild ride that what happened there. So and knowing everything, going back to Alex's point that we didn't know. I mean, McGuire kept the big bottle of Andro in the locker. I was like, wow, that's what you're doing. Okay, you can get jacked that using that. Okay, all of a sudden sales of Andro was going through the roof. But it happens, and those guys they pay their price. I still think Barry Bonds. This is another discussion, but I still think Barry Bonds should have always been in the Hall of Fame. He was a Hall of Famer before any of the stuff he ever did. Any of the stuff. So, to me, it's a nothing burger that he's not in there. I think it's stupid he's not in there. Same with like Roger Clemens. I think it's stupid he's not in there because he was a Hall of Famer before any of that stuff came about too. So, that's neither here nor there type of stuff. But Paul, what did you think about? Did you get a chance to watch that video on Judge or no?
No, not yet.
It's on the to-do list for him.
Yeah,
but
I just wasn't able to get to it.
I know family comes in. Got family, got lives.
Family,
everyone's
work,
got stuff,
whatnot.
But I know what you do have, and that you have. Paul has a playoff roster he wants to give to us.
I got many playoff rosters. You put me too much on the spot on this. We discussed this all week.
I know we did, but it's fun because now you get to mix and match your playoff rosters that you put. Now you get to limit it down to the 26 guy, the best 26 best that you're thinking of.
Can I just go?
As Dave is sitting there in the background right now. He's covering it. He's covering up. He's ready to pounce on you.
So why don't we go with who I'm just going to leave off to make this easy? Let's make this easy. I'm leaving Marwin off, Hicks off, Oswaldo Peraza off. He's just not getting enough at bats for Peraza. He needs to have at bats. That bat's going to get cold. Not dealing with the cold bat. That's essentially what I'm doing. Not happy. I have Josh Donaldson on there, but he's still a threat. Leaving off in the bullpen, Abreu, Castro, Montas now probably at least in round one. Lucas Litke, Weishart. After watching that last night, man, you were up a ton. You can't walk that batter. and I think I left Clark Smith off only because I have Chapman and Efros on and Britton on, and that's all depends on if Britton can give me something.
I thought you were going to say.
I can totally put Clark and Britton or Clark and Chapman. That's no problem there.
I thought you were going to say if that's only if Chapman could give you something.
I mean, I don't. He's the lefty, and he could give you something. He's not. It's not going to be consistent. You're going to have to find a low leverage situation for him, but give him somewhere if you get blown out or you're blowing someone out. Give him an inning, and you'll be okay. I'm not going to put him in the 8th inning in a 6-5 game.
Well, I think the Yankees, what they're doing with him right now, they said they were gonna find a spot for him. Boone was the one who was saying that.
Exactly. Just find something, a low leverage situation.
Yeah, they're not using him high leverage. I think the high leverage spots are gonna be for Loizaga, even Holmes, even though Holmes has been kind of falling off again.
And
I think those two guys are getting most of the high leverage spots.
And I want to see what's going on with Peralta's situation too before I go crazy on leaving him off the roster.
He said, Boone said that he was coming back for at least the last week,
right before or something.
So he'll get a couple games in there to kind of work himself out, and then of course there's the hopefully we lock everything up and get one of the top 2 or probably just the second seed, so we get another 5 days off. So kind of works out especially for some of these pitchers, gives them a little bit of a break as well.
Yeah, and I mean I can go. I mean you could put Marwin on if Benintendi or Carpenter aren't ready. Stick Marwin on over Hicks just for the utility base of that. I can stick Marwin anywhere in the field, and at least he'll make me a defensive play if he's not going to hit.
So you're having Cabrera as your left fielder?
I actually have Giancarlo Stanton as my left fielder if Carpenter comes back, because I want Carpenter as my DH of interest. But again, if Carpenter comes back, if I don't, I have Stanton as my DH. And again, that depends on Benny, because I have Benny in my left field as well, if he's healthy. So really all depends on the health of Carpenter and Benny, where I'm going with that.
Giancarlo's never seen the field in the playoffs. It's just not going to happen.
If I got to put him out there, I got to stick him out there. Just stick him in left field and hope for the best.
No, you don't hope for the best in the playoffs. You put your best. You put your best 9 in the lineup every day.
But where am I putting Matt Carpenter? You want to put him in left field?
Matt Carpenter is not getting everyday ABs in the playoffs. He's going to pitch it at bats. He's going to pitch it for guys like Cabrera. He's going to pitch it for guys like IKF, for Trevino. That's where Carpenter's role is. His role is not to play the field. Yeah, he's not going to play the field. He's not going to get – if he gets a start as a DH, Giancarlo's not playing. And better be against a tough righty, like a Verlander or Urquidy or Shane Bieber. But, that's the only way I would see Matt Carpenter getting a lot of ABs in the postseason.
So we went from like Matt Carpenter being the hottest guy on our team to he gets hurt and we're just putting him on the bench. Is that what we're doing?
I mean,
he wasn't getting everyday ABs.
Besides for Aaron Judge, he was legitimately the hottest guy in your team for a substantial amount of time. He brought us out.
Which is why he belongs on the playoff roster, but he's not going to get everyday ABs. Go ahead, Dave.
I mean, Danny and I got into a very, very heated debate over this a couple weeks ago. Matt Carpenter is a bench player in the postseason if he comes back healthy. The man has not seen live pitching in what now? 9 weeks? 9 weeks. And all of a sudden we're just going to insert him into the field and into the lineup over Giancarlo Stanton. I don't see, it's not happening. He's going to be a bench guy. Like Danny said, he's going to come in, pinch hit, get an at bat here or there. I am curious as to why, like, you've been not exactly in the Marwin Gonzalez fan club, Paul, but you're going to take Marwin over Peraza. I'm just curious as to where the train of thought is with that. You're muted, bro.
Paul, you're muted, brother.
My bad. Sorry. Peraza's kind of stuck, in the infield where I could, if something happens, I could stick Marwin anywhere. I could stick him at first. I can sit him in any corner. I can sit him in center. I think that's my situation there. And it's the veteran presence as well. He seems like he's very well liked. I'm not saying the Peraza is not well liked. I just feel like every time I see someone talking to him, like he seems like he's bringing a smile to someone's face. He seems like he's a very good clubhouse guy. And that's kind of what you need in the playoffs as well.
Paul, you're a friend. And I'm going to tell you right now where you could stick Marwin Gonzalez. You could stick him.
I'm not saying I want him.
You could stick him in the trash can behind the stadium. That's where you could stick him. I don't want to see him even on a playoff roster. Okay, he's a bum. He doesn't need to be there. He
right now,
to be in a bodega. He needs to be in a bodega, selling some freaking being behind the cash register. That's what he needs to be. He doesn't really need to be even in the baseball.
He's selling Lucy's to everybody.
Hey man, he can sell whatever he wants. I don't care. Okay, man.
It's selling 21-ounce Bud Lights at the stadium for $15 a can. He's
gonna make my sausage, egg, and cheese on 149. All right.
Exactly. There we go. And I want the bacon, egg, and cheese.
But yeah, no, Dave, what you were saying before about Peraza, I mean, here's the problem is that we have the problem with Peraza not being on the roster is because of IKF. Now you have IKF that's was supposed to be your stopgap. You bring Peraza up and then you don't play him. So he's not going to be ready to play in a postseason. He could be on the bench, like he not a bench player, not a dress bench player, but he could be like Jeter sitting on the bench, being around the team, learning, watching, being part of the experience to help that maturity process get him over, to the next level. But next year, there should be no way, shape, and form that IKF is the shortstop. I think after what we've all seen this year, I think we can fully agree that IKF is not a true everyday shortstop. You know what I'm saying? Like he can fill in, but I don't think it is an everyday shortstop, especially when Peraza is there, and Peraza's glove is shown down the minors that it's Gold Glove material, and he showed when he came up and got the chance to play that it is a Gold Glove and a special type of defensive player, and he's got more pop in his bat than IKF. So I don't see why you keep, and IKF could be a utility person, or maybe you put IKF in a deal with with Gleyber Torres plus another prospect and get Pablo Lopez up here from Miami. That's a wait to see right there.
Yeah,
we'll
talk about that
on that one.
Well, Pablo Lopez,
well, it depends. No, because you're not putting like a Dominguez or a Volpe in the deal. I mean, you go like a middle kind of guy. If you're giving IKF and a Gleyber, you're not going to sit down and give a top 4 guy. You can give like a fifth, like a number 15 on the list. You can go. Siegler's is Rule 5 eligible, but you can like a Antonio Gomez could be
Randy Vasquez.
Something like that. Randy Vasquez.
That's your guy.
Even what's his name? Vargas. Alexander Vargas could be on something like that. Marlins would love a guy like him.
Listen, they could have had Pablo Lopez here at the trade deadline. The deal breaker was when the Marlins asked for Oswald Peraza and the Yankees said, hell no. He's way too valuable. And now they bring him up, they stick him on the bench because, they have this infatuation with IKF, who, going by the latest article that I read, seems like, well, he's here until 2024, so he'll be our shortstop until 2024. This is ridiculous. This goes right back to the dysfunction with his organization that we were talking about. Like, they want to hold on to these guys, but they don't want to play them, but they don't want to trade them for already proven major league talent. It's just, it's mind-boggling to me, and it's maddening.
I get where you're coming from, Dave. I think what's going to happen is, let's say this is going to be hypothetical right now, but the hypothetical, we win the World Series. I think they're gonna be able to get rid of Donaldson. Then Donaldson is going to be like, whatever, I don't care. They're going to be able to do a deal. They're going to then move IKF to third, and then we know who our shortstop is.
We got a bench. We got a bench.
It's going back to what Dave said. All the prospects are dying on trees here. I mean, you had a chance to trade Miguel Andujar when he was extremely high. Now look what you did to him. DFA'd him today. You had a chance to trade away Clint Frazier when he's high. Chance Adams was high. The list just goes on and on here. and they all die on trees for some reason, and you don't do
Chase
anything with them.
Whitley is another one that comes to mind.
Either do something with them and use them, or trade them. You could have got so much for Andahar and Frazier at that point, and you weren't willing to deal them at any
You
point.
could have had Garrett Cole.
Mind blowing that you wouldn't trade away that, like, for a proven talent when you could have won right there.
You know, like I always say, it goes back to to Cashman. And when Cashman came up, he already had a set. He had the set team, and the minor leagues was literally used to just fill in and get the next star. It was used to get, you know, get the trade going, but then used to not even they didn't care about what happened. You know, they already signed the Giambis, the Matsuis, the Musinas, traded for A-Rod, traded for Sheffield. You know, you made the trade to get Roger Clemens. You always made a trade, you know, a trade with Knobloch. You traded away Eric Milton and plus something else to get Knobloch back then.
Christian
But, like,
Guzman.
Yeah, so
Go
I mean,
back.
yeah, I mean that's just, and some of those deals obviously, you know, weren't Cashman deals, but a lot of them were the signings and whatnot were. But it just shows you where he's at. I mean, I think Yankees have a MO where it's if they do something and then it goes wrong, they shy away from it full on. Like, it's a full U-turn, roadblocks are put up. They don't go down that road again.
But
You
you
know,
can
take a
go back
look-
to the last 10, 12 years. The majority of their first rounders didn't work. Cedar Culver, Dante Bichette, Ty Hensley, Eric, the third baseman, Eric. I can't pronounce his last name
Eric
right now.
Young- Oh,
No,
Jagailo.
Yeah, I mean,
Eric
just keep
Jagailo.
going down that list. Like, Kyle Holder didn't work. Blake Rutherford didn't work. That list is just steep. Anthony Siegler, he's gone. Rule 5 draft, more than likely gone. And he's not really even hitting. And he's been in the system for 4 years now. The list just goes on. It's ridiculous. James Caprillian's been okay.
Yeah, but he was an injury bug when the minute we got him. I mean, he had one good season in the minors, and the next 2 seasons that he had he got an elbow issue. They shut him down. Came back. He got the elbow issue again. They gave him Tommy John, then traded him. Right.
Yeah, it's just
A few months later.
But again, you could have got more for him earlier on.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, first round pick worked for the Yankees. I got
There's
2
like
names.
one so far. That
2
guy
names.
that's about to hit 61 today.
Aaron Judge and Clark Schmidt. Clark Schmidt's really good.
I mean,
He's been an
Volpe
impact
will
player
work.
on this
I mean,
team.
he'll work.
Volpe,
But I mean,
yeah.
for the most part, I mean, you look at it, it's just
so
not
hard.
impressive.
Ian Clark was taken ahead of Judge, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was 31-32. I mean, was
Yeah.
Ian Clark. I mean, they were back-to-back picks at that point.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, the Jagailo one was that they chose Jagailo because they didn't think Jagailo was going to stick around, but everyone figured Judge was going to stay, and they didn't have a problem waiting for Judge.
Yeah, it was Judge.
But if you read that article today, if you guys read that article in New York Post, everybody who watched Judge back in the day, like, oh yeah, he's big, but he's nothing special. That was consensus coming out of when he was coming out of California.
Well,
It's all what's
that
in
one
here.
wrong.
Yeah.
Man.
It's in here for Judge,
It's
right? He has the physical attributes, but what's inside makes him better.
Hey, Mark, after you saying what you just said about from the Post, man, it's like anyone could be a baseball. It's like, yeah, that's the guy. That guy's good. Yeah, let's pick that guy. What do you mean? He's a bum. Nah.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, just think of it this way: there's still a lot of teams still had those old school scouts that looked at him, and go, "Oh, well, he's big. He's not." You know, they still think big guys were going to strike out as much as 300 times a year. So there was, but they always said like, "Oh." But I'll say this: Judge didn't have a lot of in-game power coming through the minor leagues. Like it really blossomed. You know, obviously his full-on rookie season, but like he would in batting practice, he'd be lightning power, but in-game power wasn't there. You know, I think he had in the teens for most of the time in the minor leagues. Even in college, he wasn't even hitting that hard. So a lot of people go, "Oh, it's whatever." You know, "Oh, he hits the ball back to us. It's not even going to hurt you." You think it should hurt you too much, but it doesn't. But that just, like you said, that just goes to, like Danny was saying, it just goes to the fact that he had the physical attributes. He put the work in, he put the time in, and did everything. So, you know, hats off to him. But Paul, when speaking of the minor leagues, why don't you give everyone some recaps on the minors? Wins, loss, and tell us some standouts coming up. Starting all the way at the bottom, going to the top.
I'm actually flipping between the Yankee game and the Somerset game right now.
I kind of doing the same thing.
It's game 2 of the division series. They're down 5-3, so that's disappointing. They won yesterday, so that's kind of disappointing to see them lose here. I mean, the bullpen kind of just upchucked on itself after Beater left the game. I mean, he looked good. He only gave up 2 hits over 5, and then the bullpen came in and gave up the 2 runs on him. So that's unfortunate. But he got 6 Ks to go along with that over 5 innings. So again, another strong outing by him. So I'm very, very happy with that. Last 7 games, 2.13 ERA before tonight. 41 Ks over 25 innings. Take that. He's looking like he's going further in his pitch count's up, and he's going further in games. So very happy on that side of things.
It looks like Joey Gallo gave us something good. This
yeah, I mean it's gonna work. I mean, I told you guys last time on the pod, he's got to work up the pitch count and the innings count. It's gonna have to be. I'm gonna have to see 6, 7 out of him, and he gave you 5 tonight. And I don't know the pitch count offhand here. Let me see. Pitch count was at 80, so that's pretty good for him. That's about as high for the season, I'm guessing. I know it's been around 70, so I'll take it. Unfortunately, Andres Chaparra didn't do anything tonight so far, but that's another guy I wanted to spotlight on the Somerset team. 20 home runs, 65 RBIs, 277. 19 home runs, 52 RBIs, 289 for an average. I was reading also Wells' stats to you guys at 277, 20 home runs and 65 RBIs. We also got to touch on that. I know I talked to Mark about it earlier this week. 16 for 16 for Wells, man. That's crazy in the steal department. 32 for 32 over his career so far. That's ridiculous for a catcher.
Oh yeah. No, we spoke to early in the season. We spoke to Brandon Lockridge, and one of the things Lockridge was telling us was that the entire minor leagues they are focusing on stealing bases and going top to bottom. And you know what? And especially with the new rules that are coming in place, bigger bags and whatnot. I mean, why not? If you got athletic people, it's gonna be good to it's going to be a positive.
Talk about Lockridge. He just struck out with Mickey Gasper at first, unfortunately. So they're down to 2 outs left. Dang. So that kind of sucks. AAA, still 8 games left. 78 and 64. I don't know who we want to touch on specifically there. If there's anybody wants to touch on there, we've seen it. Kind of want to touch on Zach Green a little bit. And Devi Garcia. Zach Green, 14 games, 1.19 ERA, 33 Ks over 22 innings. Devi has looked amazing in relief. 6 games, 2.95 ERA, 18 innings, 24 Ks. Got to stay in relief. I told you guys this before. I see him as a 7th and 8th inning guy as soon as next year.
Do you think they pull the plug and they pull the trigger and they bring him up as the reliever next year?
He's been awesome as a reliever down in Scranton, and I think that this is a case of, and we've discussed this before too, save some money, throw him in the bullpen. I see Dave's head go down, but it makes sense. If he's going to work out in the bullpen, I'm saving money somewhere because I'm tired of paying $10 million, $13 million for relievers.
Yo, couldn't we? But going back to the Montas trade, couldn't we have done that with Medina? Put Medina in the bullpen and let him go 105 miles an hour with that curve, with that changeup, and let him ride.
I agree, but I think it's the same thing. You're going to want him as a starter as far as you can get him.
Oh yeah, no, I get that point, but at some point, just like Adela Matanzas, when it's not going to work out, it's not working out. Just make the move and put him in the spot where he's really going to succeed, and that's probably where he's going to succeed as a late inning kind of guy. Just based on stuff.
I know he's struggling in Midland. I saw that the other day. He's really struggling. His ERA was like at 12 something, and he's just walking boatloads of guys. I think he was walking.
So he's back to where he was.
Yeah, I saw that he was. I think it was like 20. I could be around 22 walks in 20 innings or some ridiculous number. And but he had the Ks. He had like 26 Ks or something. So I saw it briefly the other day.
But touching on this one, none of the guys we gave up in the Montas deal, they've not performed well at all. Like JP Sears has been, he was brought up real fast by Oakland. He got sent right back down. Like he's been
He
struggling.
a couple decent starts, nothing too well, but he's a middle of the road guy. He's 2, 3, 4 type of guy. He's not an ace.
Yeah, but JP Sears, I mean, but he seems more like a not even a 2 or a 3. He's more like a 4 or 5.
Seems like a 3 or 4 or 5 back end guy. He's not,
even
he doesn't
at this
have
point,
the power for that.
No, but he could be even kind of looking like a quad A kind of guy right now too.
That's
I mean,
early.
Waldichuk hasn't really done well.
It's early.
Those two guys are still very, very young.
Yeah, exactly. It's
they
early.
got time.
But
time is on their side.
talking about that, did anybody see Hunter Wisniewski's perfect inning, the immaculate inning today?
Oh, Hayden.
I know it was versus the Pirates, so it's not awfully exciting, but it was nice.
It doesn't matter because it could have been against the 27 Yankees. An immaculate inning.
Yep.
Is it immaculate?
No, I feel you. I know. I got
Exactly.
it. Saying.
Yeah,
It was just. I think it was
strikes.
just like versus the Pirates.
All right. So who do you got? Who you got? Some of your people from some of the things down from high A, low A, FCL.
High A Hudson Valley, 37 and 27. TJ Rumsfeld, Tyler Hardman's my dude. Nelson Alvarez, which is heading to all three of those guys are actually heading to the Arizona Fall League along with Jason. So excited for that. Tampa, Yelleron, Codro, Spencer Jones been tearing it up. 22 games, 3 home runs, 10 steals, 325 average, 10 walks, 18 Ks. Lee Mendoza, he's heading to the Arizona Fall League as well. And my disappointment sounds weird. Anthony Garcia, man, it's just way too many Ks for me. He's batting 195 with 14 home runs, 21 steals, 156 Ks for a pathetic 195 average. But I mean, he's walking obnoxious. He's still got 83 walks, so he walked obnoxiously. But the 195 average isn't going to play. There's too much swing and miss.
How did Gomez's season end?
I don't know offhand. I don't have that. I don't have that offhand. He wasn't bad. He did normal stuff. He did Gomez type things. In Tampa, 252, 8 home runs, 48 RBIs, 100 Ks. Same thing. Lots of Ks. Lots and lots of Ks.
Yeah.
But, my other guy that I like personally in FCL, Augustin Ramirez, led the league in RBIs and in total bases with 51 RBIs and 85 total bases. Another guy we got to talk about actually went into the many top 30s already, so he's bound to hit into mine. Sean Hardman, 10 starts between FCL and Tampa, 57 Ks and 53 innings, 2.52 ERA. Kid's a monster. I can see him going to Double-A next year, no problem.
That's a big jump.
He's got a disgusting advanced changeup, promising slider. The changeup is disgusting. If you guys get to watch the video.
All right.
What's his name?
Sean Hardman, Hermann. He was the 14th round
that
pick.
kid. Okay.
Yeah, he was a 14th round pick from Durant High School in Plant City. I don't know if you guys are near Plant City any, but
I'm that's about half an hour, 45 minutes away from me.
Yeah, he came from
on the West
14th
Coast
round
over near Tampa.
So they actually talked to him. They paid him more to talk him out of going to Florida. So the South.
The Yankees actually drafted somebody from Florida.
Yeah, wow. They talked him out of going to South Florida College too. So that was kind of cool. They talked.
Oh yeah, USF is right around the corner for them.
Yeah,
that's USF right there.
Is so nice. It's so nice. I lived right by there when I lived in Tampa. I was like, man, I want to go here so bad. The facilities. Shane McClanahan was there when I was in Tampa. Good times.
That's crazy. And then one more team, just the DSL Yankees. Let's touch base on that. Kenarl Delgado, disgusting. 310, 3 home runs, 34 stolen bases, 16 doubles in 52 games. Disgusting. We wanted to touch on Roderick Arias. I know that. We discussed that. 194, 3 home runs, 10 steals. Struggled mightily in the field. 13 errors and 97 chances. Again, really young. Not worried about it.
And he was coming off a wrist injury too. So I mean that.
Yeah,
chance that played.
Just it's just something to watch. You're really young, but something to just to make sure, just to make sure all is good. And the last guy I really want to touch was Henry Lane, 6'7" lefty, 11 starts, 2.98 ERA, 52 Ks in 48 innings. Disgusting. Lots of comparison to Randy Johnson there. I've seen video on it and articles on it. I don't know. I think it's too early on that, but some other people don't. I mean, he's a DSL Yankees, so I can't compare anyone in the DSL Yankees to Randy Johnson. I'm sorry.
I
Just
wonder
'cause
who
he's
you're talking
tall.
about there, Paul.
I mean, just because he's tall, it has a good fastball. I can't compare anyone. I can't compare an 18-year-old to an all-time great.
But going back to Augustin Ramirez, are you? I've been looking into him. You and I have been talking a lot about him, Paul. You think he overtakes Gomez on the depth chart? Starts moving ahead of him?
I could see it. I mean, Gomez has to hit a little bit more. And I think they're comparable when they're going to get to the same level and such. I think it can happen. But I'm still on board with Austin Wells still be behind the plate for a little while longer. I know me and you discussed maybe a left field change or first base change, Mark, but still want to see him behind the plate. That was the point of drafting him.
Oh yeah. No, first round draft.
The point was
I'm
gonna leave the leash, for lack of better terms, as long as I can. If he's throwing out guys, his framing's been better, his throwing out has been better. I mean, I told you guys the same comp I had. I'm going to say it again. Jason Kendall is like my comp for him. I keep coming back to it, looking at those stolen bases again this year. I mean, 32 for 32 to start your career is ridiculous. That's the same thing Kendall kind of did. He had a lot of stolen bases in his career, a little bit of batting average, a little bit of home runs. That's the comp I keep coming back to. If I get Jason Kendall on my team, I'm taking it all day.
I think Wells will have more power though than Jason Kendall. Jason Kendall probably gave you like
no,
three
definitely
homers a year.
Yeah. But I think like when it comes to everything, because Jason Kendall, he's just kind of that guy, like Kendall had, like a dozen home runs a year, 10 home runs a year, but he had a bunch of doubles every year. It's like 30 doubles a year. If I get 30 doubles a year out of my catching spot and another, 20 steals, I'm taking it. And even Jason Kendall's average was always in the high 200s, like 280s all his career. That's a really good catcher, especially nowadays when your catcher doesn't hit.
True.
And catching position is so weak.
Exactly. It's like if I can get a dozen home runs, if I get a dozen steals and like a 280 average, I'm really happy.
And the fact that Wells sticks and makes it to Yankee Stadium, I mean, he's got pull power, so I mean he can get about 20 home runs.
Something tells
he can run into him. He can run into a bunch.
Something tells me he's going to be traded though, and I there's something about it. Some small market S team, a Washington Nationals, a Pirates in Oakland, we're going to want a guy from them, and that's the guy that's going to be moved. It's just something about him that screams like the Yankees don't love him in a manner of he doesn't have the power they like or doesn't necessarily do something they may not like. There's just something, in my opinion, that screams that.
This is when they drafted him, that was the second time they drafted him. They drafted him coming out of high school in the 32nd round or something like that.
Yeah, something way down.
Yeah, so I mean they tried to take a flyer on him back then. They watched him and they took him in the first round in 2020. So I think they've always liked something. They've always liked the approach that he's had at the plate. I think it's always just been where is he going to be in the field? Is it going to, because he's thrown out guys and his pitching framing's gotten better, but the arm is still not there. I mean, I still think it's a 30 grade arm. I've heard 30 grade. Maybe you can bump it to 40 grade arm, but I don't think I think the way the Yankees are, it's not really something that they really look forward to.
But if he moves to the outfield, moves to the outfield, he's an average player at best. His bat doesn't play for the power you want out of a corner outfielder. That's my question.
I gotcha. I mean, the good thing is, I mean, he's in Double-A. He's doing well in Double-A. So I think next year he's got to get a taste in Triple-A. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I mean, the way he's played really well in Double-A this year. He's got to make that move. But speaking of, we're speaking of Double-A right now. our good friend the Martian's been got bumped up two levels from low A to high A and killed it in high A, and then is getting his feet wet in double A. But the Martian's landing in the Arizona Fall League this year.
Yep.
Which is impressive for a 19-year-old. Impressive for a kid who just had 2 weeks in double A ball. Can you tell us give us a couple of the highlights of the not everybody, but the main Yankees that are making their way to Arizona for the Arizona Fall League?
I mean, I'm not even going to touch on J-Dom. We talk about him all the time. We know the drill. Kid's going to be good. TJ Rumsfeld, he actually was acquired in the Nick Nelson, Donnie Sands trade. We were trying to clear away 240-man roster spots. He's an interesting cat to me. He come out on fire this year. Then he broke a bone, went on the IR for like a month and a half, 2 months. First baseman, listed as third base in the Arizona Fall League. Something to watch, see if he actually gets some reps over there or not. Since he really never got reps over there in the regular season. Between Hudson Valley and Tampa, 284, 4 home runs, 13 doubles, 34 RBIs, and it chipped in 4 steals. That was only like in 52 games because, like I said, he went on the IR. Good plate discipline kid. Like him a lot. I think he's going to be one of those guys that do get moved or kind of hangs around on the backside of the roster. Tyler Hardman, that's my dude. First baseman, 5th rounder from 2021. 255, 22 home runs, 16 doubles, 81 RBIs, and 14 steals, and 107 games in Hudson Valley and only a handful in Somerset. But his issue, I think he's in the Arizona Fall League mostly because it's an age thing. He's already 22 when he was drafted. He's going to be 24 on opening day. So they need to get him against better competition now. Stop playing around. He's 24. Yeah, he came out of college from, Oklahoma, which is a good baseball school. But go see better stuff now so you can get yourself quickly in AA, quickly in AAA. Because you're not going to see him until he's 27 if we keep playing around, and we don't want to sit there and play around. Nelson Alvarez, 24-year-old, 13th round pick in 2019. Same thing. He kind of hung around in, Hudson Valley. Go get some reps, go get some innings. He also missed a month on the IR, but he was the most dependable arm in Hudson Valley. 5-2, 277 ERA, striking out 65 and 55 in the third innings. So his K rate actually increased because he repeated the same level too. So his K rate increased from 20.5 to 28.9. Not bad, but strictly reliever there. Yalan Calderon, international signing in 2018. 21, 6-1, 388 ERA, and 58 innings, 14 games with 6 starts. So I'm interested to see which way they're going to go with this kid. 75 strikeouts, against 16 walks. Filthy stuff. Fastball, sinker, slider, disgusting changeup. Like I said before, check it out. Check that out as well. I want to see which way they're going to go with him in Arizona Fall League, starter, reliever. Again, that's about getting getting more reps against better comp. Sean McNeely, 24. I really don't have an answer on why they're sending him here. He was a 16th round pick from Hope International University in 2019. Don't have a reason besides he lost a lot of time. He was out most of 2022, only an inning and 2/3 in 2021. Just lost a lot of time, but I don't see him panning out to be too much more. He's got a good slider, a mid-90s fastball, strictly reliever. I don't understand it besides for getting more innings there. And the last one was Leo Lim Mendez, 2022 free agent signing, but he's 22 years old, so he's a little old for the free agent signing. Same thing, just kind of getting him some innings. He's more of an 8th inning closer guy. I don't understand what the reason was besides for Calderon at any of these pitchers, besides to get him a couple more reps. The pitching side didn't really make much sense to me.
So if you're going to tune into the AFL this year, watch Jason Dominguez. Forget everybody else.
And Tyler Hardman.
Pan.
Tyler Hardman's my guy. Do not forget Tyler Hardman.
Everybody here to hear first. Tyler Hardman.
Tyler Hardman.
And J-Don. All right.
Yes.
Cool.
The rest of them, I don't know me anything.
Paul, before
Rumsfield's an interesting name too, only because you got him from the Phillies and he's to clear those 240-man rosters. I kind of want to see, did he see something there in Hardman to go get him?
We'll see.
So, Paul, just so you know, I'm going to give you a chance so you could take Chapman off your list now because he's not the man. in the top of the 8th with down by 1 run. That's
I
not the
didn't say
man.
down by 1 run at the beginning.
I'm not.
Of the pod.
I'm not saying that's. I'm not saying. I'm not saying that's what you said. I'm saying
Okay.
that's a position. That's a position that just came up a scenario, and that scenario is not good for him. So
I mean, so
that's one of a lot more.
So what's left for me is Abreu, Castro if he's healthy, Lucas Litry, Clark Smith, and Greg Weiser. I'm not leaving Weiser. He's locking a guy in to begin the inning when we're up 14-2. That's not acceptable. Whether it's regular season or it's playoffs, that's not an acceptable situation. Clark Smith, we saw that tonight.
But
2 long balls already. He's gone.
You can have a bad one. Today Schmidt had a bad one, but
Schmidt had a bad one.
Afford bad ones in the
Chapman's
playoffs.
always a bad one. Chapman's always a bad one.
People are gonna have bad ones. Everybody's gonna have a bad one.
Lucas Litry would be the only guy I'd go with.
Luke Trevino just shanked one to the left-handed batter's box and threw it to the backstop. So there you go. Case in point, having a bad one.
Yeah. Trevino has been on his game lately. He's been kind of up and down. But I still put him in the roster. I take Licky over Chapman at this point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I'll take a double cheeseburger over Chapman right now.
Oh, that sounds good. From Wendy's? From where?
Wendy's does sound good.
It's not from White Castle. I keep hearing White Castle's going down under.
What? No. I need to go back.
You're joking.
Up north, they're closing a whole bunch.
Yeah.
From where I'm at, they're closing a whole bunch. The only one they're keeping open is really the one good, famous one in New York. Otherwise,
the one on Fordham Road or the one in the Yonkers?
The one in Yonkers, I believe, is staying open.
Whatever.
Danny, you remember the one on Fordham Road, right?
Exactly, bro.
Whoa. Hey, Paul.
What up?
How about the one over in Brooklyn? Is that one going to stay open?
I'm not sure. I know the one in Yonkers, I think, was the one staying open.
Yeah, that's a famous one, dude. I remember going.
Whatever the really
White Castle
famous
over
one
there
was.
on Fordham Road. Oh.
Yeah, there was a big thing about it in my newspapers. So that's
for me.
okay.
It's that one that's over there on Fort Hamilton.
They're all like 2 hours from me.
Oh
I go to New York. I hit them up.
I'm
actually trying to make a plan for that for the next couple of weeks with my boys.
I guess I'm gonna have to find another reason to help me go to the bathroom very well. If that's gone, man, it's back to Dunkin' Donuts coffee.
Oh gosh.
Oh, yeah. Paul, you're in Connecticut. You never did Pat Tubba Hubba, did you? That's a Stanford play. That's a Stanford thing.
No.
Oh, that place.
No,
Alex, that place.
I'm on the other. I'm more on the Rhode
you would
Island
be
side.
running.
I'm like 20 minutes from where Dave grew up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on the Rhode Island side.
Mark, I'm used
we
to
got
going,
good fries out
get
here.
go have a White Castle. Go have like 1 or 2 white sliders, and then you're gonna be in the bathroom in about a half an hour anyway.
I'm gonna go to White Castle, take some photos, and then tag you on Twitter.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
Maybe I'll send you a cold one.
Woo. Hey, I feel like I'm there. You heard of Harry? It'll be Paul and Alex.
There you go. I just need to get down to Florida, okay, guys. That's a goal within the next couple months.
Hey, man, spring training, come on down, bro.
Yeah. Spring training, get you what Church's Chicken down here.
Zaxby's.
Oh, Zaxby's is fire, bro.
That's what's up.
I like BDQ. I like public subs are good.
I know they're in Georgia. I don't know if there's any in Tampa area, but Bojangles.
Oh yeah, they're all over St. Augustine and Jacksonville.
Well, you're in Georgia right over there, so it's all right.
I did say Georgia.
St. Augustine is not Georgia, bro.
It's Georgia.
Far from it.
Oh, wow, because it's a city, just like every other city is.
No. All right. Anybody got anything else?
I think we're good, Dave. Why don't you take us out?
The newest Yankee killer's up. Bruce McGuire bases loaded. That's great.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
One guy I'm concerned. We're talking about Yankee killers in the future. Tristan Cassis is nasty for Boston.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys
I was always
actually
I was so mad when
check him
the
out.
Yankees never didn't draft him. I still can't believe why they never did that. It took
Kid is
season
gonna
over
be
him.
so nasty.
He's hitting 198 versus everybody else, so I'm not too concerned right now. But
He's struggling right now, but the long term, 22 years old, the long term is very bright.
Yeah, no, I remember watching that draft and we went to see him. Going, there's Tristan Cassis. At that time, he could play third base. He wasn't just a first baseman. Look at him going. That was a
He's a
left-handed
monster,
power,
so big.
left-handed monster that could just hammer balls in the Yankee Stadium. That's all I
Yep.
started thinking about. Why?
He's gonna keep wrapping around Petsky Pole in Boston. He's gonna have millions of them home runs over that side.
All right, Davey boy, take us home.
All right. Well, for everyone that listens to us babble week in and week out, we thank you. We appreciate you. Make sure to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel so that way there you can get notified when we go live like this every Thursday night. Things are going to change going into the postseason a little bit, so we'll keep you posted on that. Definitely looking forward to that going forward. You can find us on Apple, Google, Spotify, our new homes, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio. Adds a little bit of a difference. Listen to us there. Check us out on those platforms, as well as CastBox and everywhere else you get your podcasts. Make sure to check out our link tree, link.tree/real Bronx Muchachos. Got great deals there from Southwest Airlines, Hilton, Lids. Get your stuff at Lids for the postseason. Postseason's coming up, Christmas. Fanatics has some great signed memorabilia and everything like that. So, yeah, appreciate all you. Paul, what you got?
If anybody's on, turn the Somerset game on. They just tied that up. It's going to extra innings.
Oh, it's in extra innings right now.
Going into extra innings. Jay down with a walk. Wells with a single. Andres Chaparra did something with another single. So we're going into extra innings.
You're behind it all. Paul, you're behind it all. It's runner on second base, 1 count.
Yeah, I got
No
that.
outs.
I've seen it now, but I was like about to
I'll
say
say
like,
one thing. That sounds way more exciting than this top of the 8th.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we win the second game there. So
Trevino
J-Dub's had a heck of a game today.
The Red Sox.
Trevino just struck out Reese McGuire with the bases loaded to end the 8th inning. So thank God for that. To everybody that listens to us across the pond internationally, we appreciate you. We love you. Keep it going. For Mark, Alex, Danny, and Paul, David, Bronx Muchachos, sign off.
Later.
Go Giants. Cowboys, you're going to lose.